definitely advantageous to go ahead and grab some hills. It looks like Master is kind of doing that same thing though. They're grabbing the little moped thing, making sure that they're going to find themselves a little bit of a location to play off of. One of them will fall, but I mean the rest should come through. Unique though will probably be a little bit of an annoyance on their side. Same as Sudor actually, it looks like.
I've never seen that thing move so fast. But there you go. That was amazing. Yeah, you gotta get into that compound fast. But anyway, we have Unique still kind of holding off this spot at the moment and trying their very best to chill. There's not much for them to do right now. They're just going to be waiting for this next circle shift to come in because for all intents and purposes, some of those compounds next to Quarry, whilst I'm not a huge fan of the ones right next to Quarry, this one, as well as the one a little bit west of them, is actually pretty decent for this circle. So, we'll see.
Well, I like Master's compound because it also gives them like a direct move up on top of that hill if they need to, and that'll give them a lot of sight lines or just the potential to hold whoever's up on top of the hill out of the next zone. So yeah, I definitely like that location. Also gives them both a pipeline up to the north because of the hill or potentially the south. So I think it's a good location to really be ready for any sort of a shift to make a rotation.
There is a world where Conqueror runs into Na'Vi here, as Na'Vi is taking up that kind of trifecta location. Panda at the moment is meeting their old friend's Destiny pretty soon, but they'll be like, there's only one of you? This is some questionable driving, to say the least. Take the license away from this man. And they are going to just check this out. Okay, so they already see a fight has gone down here, so they know exactly what has gone on, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, if they're paying attention to that feed early on, especially while they're looting, they should probably know that there's only one person left, right? So if there's like, there's a solo, why not just going ahead and go 2-2, try and run around, see if you can spot them out, clear these buildings together, you know, all that good stuff. I don't know. I don't really like messing with solos because there is an opportunity for them to really go ahead and get a good surprise attack in and take down 1-2 people. But it looks like Panda, they're confident they want to try and sniff him out. But as of right now, they don't quite know where he is. Mazzaro is kind of safe on the edge of this wall for right now.
Yeah, extended mag on the Tommy gun as well. That is, as you say, messing around with solos, especially when they've got something like that, it's prime real estate for getting knocked and flushed instantaneously because they don't care. They just want the point, right?
Yep.
So, as many as possible as they can get in that spot, I suppose. But now Conqueror just sitting idly by across from Na'Vi. They don't really want to make the cross just yet. I mean, I don't mind if Conqueror sits there and all of a sudden you get like a random north shift and then they can just cross a bit more northernly, right? It's totally fine.
Well, usually around this time, everybody kind of just stays still for a second. They're just waiting for that zone to pop, and then they'll start moving into action. And it looks like, honestly, I don't even know what I'd do in their situation. Maybe make a move on back to the northern side, kind of get in there. We obviously know that boot camp is completely open. Maybe they don't know. I don't know if they spotted out Na'Vi. Maybe they'll think it's safe kind of a situation. So I just know I would want to get off that tiny island as soon as possible. Just try and get up onto that mainland. Honestly, just making a rotation up to the north to get into boot camp might just be the best idea anyway, because that's where the majority of the circle is.
Oh, Mazzaro's gone. That's Destiny out. Unfortunately for them, Rico Infinity going out before them, of course. So Destiny will take 15th place from this. 4 points, you know, it's not that bad. But actually, where they sit right now, because obviously you were speaking about the fact that they're neck and neck with one another in the standings. The difference, I think, between 13th and 12th is like $1,000. So if you actually do take, you know, that fight and actually win out that situation and get a decent amount of points, that's a big deal. So of course there's still a lot to play for.
And it looks like Panda, I mean, they got that one, and it looks like they want to continue now pushing up onto Sudar. I'm pretty sure this is just where Sudar actually loots, so they've been here for a good while now, and obviously the fight's going to happen. I like this actual push-off from Fight On. He was able to go up on top of the hill, and now he spots out Panda from afar. There we go, and it actually works out. One of them getting knocked, the other one super hurt. He catches another one as well. I like this push-out, this protection of their little compound.
Fidan, brilliant sprays. He has got a slight angle against him though. If he peeks a little bit left, Fidan will take out GK first, but Yiz trades off likewise against Safe. Fidan from the distance. We're still seeing Suda trying to take that off angle against all of this as well. He's still trying to find this, but here comes the off angle, I think. Just across that hillside. Yiz is in a really scary spot here. He is all but done. Nice name.
It's just, yeah, that was some nice damage. You can see he thought it worked, trying to stand up to get involved. It looks like World of Wonder also on the northern side might be getting involved, shooting Sudor in the back, so this could completely change this fight. And it looks like it's going to start off with a flush onto Safe, actually. Oh, Panda!
Saved by the bell. Oh my, those were some insane sprays coming down from World of Wonders up on the hill. And now, somehow, he is still about. I cannot believe it. Fidan here, now caught in a terrible spot, trying to shoot through a little bit of the smoke, find himself the angle he can, but now he's got to retreat. This is turned around completely on Suda.
I'm kind of surprised, honestly. I mean, I thought that Fidan was the one with the worst situation because the rest of his teammates were kind of safely inside that compound, but it looks like they tried to bring the fight to Panda and it just completely backfired. Looks like he realized they might be able to get this res on the SK Tons, so he's trying to go for it, bringing that car for a little bit of cover, but of course, I mean, Panda, they have nades. That one doesn't look close enough, but if Yusuke's a little bit closer, it's not going to be the best situation. Back into the compound. Hopefully they'll just stay in here because this is where it is safe. Panda, I mean, they're also pretty hurt now as well. Maybe they'll just back off too.
Yeah, the fact that Yus is trying to take these fights while Kate's so far away is pretty reckless. But, I mean, he's having Hail Mary nades. He doesn't quite know exactly where they are. But Panda, I think, with it, this point, is kind of having some good fun, trying to find themselves some fights where they can. So where is this circle going to go once again? Na'Vi moved and descended south towards Painan, which they know will potentially be a hotspot. It's a good spot for them as an anchor to be in the circle. And now we will see Conqueror having to make their way across as they were in Navi's trail, unfortunately for them, for a long time, and there wasn't much they could do.
Yeah, but it looks like Na'Vi now made a move on down. They're on the side of the river where they don't want to be. They want to cross, and it looks like they're going to choose Painan to go on ahead and do so. Maybe one of the best situations to do so because there's so many buildings and bridges that it could be a bit easier, but we can see in the distance, I mean, the remainder of Panda is there. We can see Guns actually taking that more southern side of it as well. All three of these teams, they're going to want to try and take that eastern side to play off of. Whoever is going to win is going to be taking the hill that I need to point it out. We saw a glimpse of it. Nasser, they're still inside that compound. They have that center zone. It's really a perfect spot for them.
Yeah, definitely so. Let's see now if Guns can take this fight. It will be difficult, of course. The SMG meta, very much so prevalent now. Seeing a lot of UMPs coming in, a lot of Uzis. As I've already been mentioned many times by Imp and Max, when it comes to the Chinese region, we see it a ton. But still, barrels in hand. Will Guns be able to hold this off? It's a bit of a stalemate. Looks like Na'Vi doesn't really want too much of this. They know it's a pretty decently entrenched position by Guns, so it's just strolling away for now.
They gotta choose soon though, because we saw in the distance, looks like Conquer was getting a little bit closer, but going on ahead, jumping all the way to the other side of the zone. 12-18, the only team now not inside of the zone up on this northeastern side. They need to go on ahead, push into Fate. Fate is the team kind of holding them out as of right now. Maybe they don't know of each other's existence, but Fate, they're super spread out on the very top of this hill. 12-18, they're gonna have to be making a rotation somewhere, and as of right now, everything's filled in. Maybe they'd be able to make rotation around, send it into Quarry, but obviously that's not a good situation to get out of then.
I mentioned before, Conqueror was in the trail of Na'Vi, and now they are perilously close to running into them. Na'Vi was already sending preemptive nades whilst hearing the buggies at the top of the hill. That is such smart play, because you expect them to stop at the top of the hill, not necessarily come down a little further as these cars move on forward. So I think Na'Vi, though, once again, a disengage is on the cards.
They're just tossing those nades to give themselves a little bit of a chance, because otherwise they're super out in the open this entire side. I mean, just look at where some of them are, super out in the open, and because of that, Reeves spotting them out, gets a knock on one, the other one's super low. This is exactly the knock that Conqueror wants if they want to start this fight, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and potentially push off this, because where else do they really have to go unless they decide to rotate back to the north? But down here, they got a knock on one, maybe they'll take that fight.
Yeah, it's been a bit brutal for now. Don't you think Navi's been a bit indecisive about their position during all of this? I mean,
yeah.
they rocked up to like Painan, right, and didn't really go in, and then Conqueror backfills on them. What do you think?
They could have even came in. They were out that cross crossroad compound up to the northern side. They could have been right above Sudor right now as well, but it looks like they just decided to run down that hill, and it looks like it'll work out for them right now, as now their compound on the southern side is actually inside of this next zone. This is a hardship of hardships. Super, wow, there's so much water in this as well. Everybody over here on this western side might be happy about this because they can kind of just chill out while everybody on the east is now having to fight to get up on top of this hill or into Painan. There's not that many locations up on top of the hill for those players to play.
It's so funny to me that whenever we kind of get these circles that actually include Painan down to, you know, the later stages of the game, there's never an actual Painan team left alive to see it. It's always the case. Destiny's gone, Rico Infinite's gone. I've seen it many, many times in other tournaments. It's brutal. Nobody really wants to stick around in Painan. They loot it and then they kind of get on going, or have fought the other team that's in Painan.
I mean, the thing is, I always feel like there's always multiple teams inside of Painan because it's definitely a spot that is safer to make a cross. I mean, there's so many bridges, but for some reason, so many teams want to use it as their crossing spot, and there's just such high traffic in Painan because I think that's what people try to use it for, and because of that, it just creates multiple teams running into each other and taking fights. Specifically, it looks like one starting between Sudor and Panda now, as Sudor actually decided to leave their compound on the north.